Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today we're getting into a newer product. If you're not familiar with this brand name, they usually do camera equipment. And this right here is actually a mini tripod. So right here you see it's the mini table tripod. And this brand is one of those brands that, if you guys are not in the know, are very much like they were back in the days. They were considered like the budget brand. I would say they were almost akin to like Kia is a good comparative example. Back in the days, Kia felt like the cheap brand and people would buy it because it was cheap and it was affordable. But then over time, now you look at modern days now, and a Kia is still pretty affordable, but also now they actually make good quality cars. So at least definitely relative to what they used to be before, when they had the reputation of just being cheap cars without actually being good. And so that is kind of like I guess you could say a kind of comparison. I don't know how on point it is, but a good comparison, I think, to, there goes the model number, TP29. A good comparison to how this brand is, where in the beginning, if you wanted light sets, stands, all these kind of things are very affordable. I'm not going to say they were necessarily bad, but they were definitely very affordable. And now they got to a point where they've just become pretty good quality. And a lot of people will choose them, especially if they're not professionals in something. They will choose them over other options because the price saving is there. So here you have the instructions. I'm not going to go into that here. And here it goes. It actually feels really nice, good material. I would say that this as a smaller tripod, I'm going to change up the angle of things a little bit so I can kind of like view this a little bit better. Okay, so let's get some of this other stuff out of the way here. So this is the type of tripod where I've had smaller tripods in the past. Older brands that I don't even think are made anymore, really, but that are similar. But the difference I will say is that I do have tripods that don't extend the legs, and these are like ones, for example, that I use for my lights. Actually, I use table lights, and I reviewed them on the channel before, but they don't have bendable leg. They don't have extendable legs like a typical, like a regular size tripod, but smaller in size. But this one seems to be similar in that same kind of vein where you can't stretch the legs out, but nonetheless, it does have a bit of versatility because it can actually lay completely flat. And that's the reason why I actually purchased this. So here you can bring these legs out to that extent for like a regular stance. Let me change this angle up a little more. Okay. There we go. So, sorry about that, guys. I wanted to adjust the lighting too as well. So it's a little more clear and in focus. So this is the normal stance of it, and it's nice. You got the little ball joint head. Now this is not overall as beefy or as heavy duty as, say, the one that I would normally use when I'm on a table. I have a smaller tripod that is for table use. That's actually a little bit more thicker and built bigger. I won't even say it's built stronger necessarily, because it uses probably more plastic than this one. It has a mix of metal and plastic, but this has a lot of metal on it. These switches, I can't tell if they're actually metal or not, if they're just a hard plastic. But let me see how this goes. Okay, so if you pull the leg, you got to pull it downwards first, then pull it upwards and release. And then you can get it to, so pull down, the whole leg down, then pull the switch downwards, and then you can release as it goes up. And it stops there at that stopping point. So if you pull down again, release, and then bring it up, you get to the next stage. So let me go to that other stage first, because there's really it's weird how it works. There's no, and I'm trying to look off the side of the screen. Pull down, pull the whole leg down first, then you can undo the lever. Then as you bring it back up, you let it snap in. So it's weird because it doesn't have a very, how should I say? It doesn't have a very positive there we go. It doesn't have like a positive kind of like connection vibe where you feel like it just snaps into place. So it's a little like janky when it comes to making it get to that position, but it works. Now these levers, these switches, they're made to lock it from going spreading out, the legs spreading out further so this thing sits lower, but you can just pull it downwards to make it go downwards. So it doesn't stop it from going upwards. Obviously gravity is not going to make it do that on its own, so you don't have to worry about that. But then we're going to put it in its most flattened position, and that was actually the main interest of why I purchased this, was because I wanted a small tabletop tripod that can go very low. So if I wanted to put, say, my phone on this or any other kind of small camera, it can lay very low and potentially just get a very like grounded, leveled shot, where most even table tripods are sitting in a more higher position, similar to when this was in this more upright position, and you could look down on an object, but you can't necessarily look flat at an object going forward. So I think that's pretty cool. This right here spins like that. You can twist this to lock this in, and this apparently locks the ball joint up top, and it locks the swivel point of it. So it's doing two things at once, which a lot of them will sometimes do that when there's a ball head, but they work a little differently, because sometimes they'll just lock in the ball head, and the ball head can spin, and the ball head can, you know, go in rotation and do this other kind of stuff. This is actually, you use something else to stop the spin. That's not the case here. This spin and the lockup of the ball are both done with the same spinning point. So that could be seen as a positive or negative. I don't think that this is the kind of thing you want to put something heavy on necessarily. But if that heavy thing's center of gravity is right in the middle, you might be able to get away with putting that heavier object, the heavier, say, camera, directly on it. If the center of gravity is straight and you're not angling it up and down and it's just going to be straight, you might be able to get away with that with this. But even then, I don't know how much it would be able to hold. But for smaller cameras or cell phones, I think this is really perfect, and the quality of it feels really good. This is all a metal. Let me So this feels like a metal, feels like aluminum. So you're not gonna get a ching kind of sound like it's like a hard metal hitting a hard metal, but it's definitely not plastic. It's definitely not a plastic. You could feel it. So that's metal. That might be a hard plastic, but I can't fully tell because it feels very hard, and it seems like it could be metal, but it's not the same in terms of when you tap it, but it might be. So just going off of what I feel as far as when I'm touching this, to be honest with you, these levers feel like they are metal. The legs are metal, aluminum, so maybe not heavy metal, but they feel like aluminum, but they're still metal. And this part of the legs are rubber, and then this part is rubber. And these are rubber because if you go like this, now you have essentially, you know, just kind of like a selfie stick or something like that. You can hold it like that, and now these allow you to get a grip on it, so you won't kind of be slipping out of your hand, and it could be used as like a selfie stick. So that's a positive with it as well. You could lay it down like that, but I wouldn't put a camera on it if you're holding it like that, because it could easily fall. It's sturdy, but at the same time, it doesn't have that, obviously, the same kind of support as if you're gonna do that. Just bring the legs out. And that's really about it. I really actually like this, and for the purpose that I will use it for. And it's a great little travel tripod as well. But I will say that if you're looking more in the market for something that is roughly about the same size, but can extend the legs, this is obviously not the one for you. I'm purchasing this for really the specific purpose of being able to lay it flat. If I'm on the go somewhere, I probably won't take this one because my other tripod, table tripod that I'm actually using to film on right now, actually has your standard tripod look with a ball head, but it has 2 points of locking points for the twist here, and then for this part here, where the mounting point on the one that I'm filming on, and that's the main one I travel with. It also has your typical tripod legs that are more circular, and then you can kind of spin the bottom, and then that way then you can extend them to, like, I think it goes as far as 2 additional length parts long, plus the centerpiece has a center pipe, for lack of a better word, I think is a different term for it, but where you can slide it upwards, so even like the neck part gets longer as well. So that's my preferred if I'm like running and gunning or just doing something out and about and I want something portable, because it can actually extend to the height of maybe a good 2 feet, which is not bad for something that is not even a foot long. So this, like I said, in a pinch is great. For basic stuff is good. If you're looking for something more like that, I would say go in that direction, like I just mentioned. But I think this is fine as it is. Link's gonna be in the description down below, and it's a very affordable price. This ran roughly for about $15. So as always, you guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.